All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning, I'm Sunil Verma and with me is VC Pramod. The headlines. Union Cabinet extends Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana till November. 80 crore people to be benefited. Government to credit Employees Provident Fund contributions both for the employee and employer till August this year in view of COVID pandemic. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate 3-day India Global Week 2020. Also to interact with representatives of social organizations of Varanasi via video conferencing today. Over 4,56,000 people affected recovered from coronavirus infection so far in the country. And in Jammu and Kashmir, former district president of BJP shot dead in terrorist attack in Bandipora town. Massive search operation launched. The Union Cabinet has given approval for extending Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana for 5 more months. Briefing media in New Delhi yesterday, Union Minister Prakash Javadekar said that under the scheme, 5 kg of wheat or rice will be given to every member of the beneficiary family and 1 kg of chana will be given to each family for 5 more months. Mr. Javadekar said the scheme will benefit more than 80 crore people in the country.
जुलाई, अगस्त, सितंबर, अक्टूबर, नवंबर 5 महीने अब ये योजना चालू रहेगी जिसमें 81 करोड़ लोगों को 5 किलो प्रति व्यक्ति मुफ्त अनाज मिलेगा और 5 महीने में 5 किलो चना मिलेगा और 25 किलो अनाज प्रति व्यक्ति मिलेगा.
We have a report from our correspondent.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi had announced the extension of the scheme in his address to the nation on 30th of last month. Mr. Modi had said poor and needy persons will not go hungry in the country and free ration during the rainy and forthcoming festival seasons during the time of current COVID-19 pandemic will be provided to them. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman had announced the first phase of the scheme just after the imposition of nationwide lockdown. Under the first phase, free food grains was provided for 3 months from April this year. The second phase, which will last for another 5 months, began from 1st July and will last till 30th November. Under the second phase, over 200 lakh metric tons of grain and 9,78,000 metric tons of chana will be distributed among the National Food Security Act beneficiaries. Both the phases of the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana will together incur a total expenditure of nearly 1,50,000 crore rupees. All expenses on the extended PMGKAY will be borne by the central government. Free distribution of whole chana will ensure adequate availability of protein to beneficiaries during these 5 months. With Anand Chaturvedi, Anupam Mishra, AR News, Delhi.
The Cabinet also gave its approval to a new Pan-India Central Sector Scheme, Agriculture Infrastructure Fund. The scheme will provide a medium and long-term debt financing facility for investment in viable projects for post-harvest management infrastructure and community farming assets through interest subvention and financial support. The government has extended the time limit for availing 3 free gas cylinders by beneficiaries of Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana. The Union Minister Prakash Javadekar said that the beneficiaries can avail the 3 free cylinders till September this year. Earlier, the beneficiaries were able to avail the free cylinders only till June.
उज्ज्वला के गैस लेने वाली 7 करोड़ 40 लाख महिलाएं हैं. उन लोगों को 3 सिलेंडर फ्री देने का ऐलान किया था. ये 3 सिलेंडर जो जून में खत्म होने वाले थे उसके जगह वो सितंबर तक उसको अवधि बढ़ा दी गई है ताकि उनको मिले. इसके लिए 13,500 करोड़ रुपए खर्च आएगा.
The Cabinet has also approved development of affordable rental housing complexes for urban migrants and poor as a sub-scheme under Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. Under the scheme, 1,08,000 single-bedroom flats will be given to nearly 3,50,000 people. In another major announcement, the Cabinet approved extension of the Employee Provident Fund contribution of 24% for another 3 months, from June to August this year. The scheme entails an expenditure of 4,860 crore and will benefit over 72 lakh employees in the country. The government will credit the contributions both for the employee and the employer. The Cabinet has also approved capital infusion in 3 public sector general insurance companies. Mr. Javadekar informed that under it, 12,450 crore rupees will be invested in Oriental Insurance Company Limited, National Insurance Company Limited and United India Insurance Company Limited.
In Maharashtra, the subsidized Shiv Bhojan meal will continue to be available at 5 rupees for another 3 months. The decision to extend the subsidized scheme was approved by the State Cabinet yesterday. The scheme to provide affordable thali or meal to the poor at 10 rupees. The rate was halved in April in view of the distress caused by the coronavirus crisis. According to an official release, over 1 lakh thalis or meals are sold every day. The Union Government has released 6,195.08 crore rupees to 14 states as the 4th equated monthly installment of the Post-Devolution Revenue Deficit Grant (PDRDG), as recommended by the 15th Finance Commission. The Finance Ministry said in a tweet that this would provide them additional resources during the corona crisis. Railway Minister Piyush Goyal has refuted claims of privatization of the Indian Railways. In a tweet, the minister said all the current services of the Indian Railways will continue to remain operational and the Railways is not being privatized in any way. Mr. Goyal informed that 151 additional modern trains will be operational on 109 routes with private participation. He asserted these additional services will not affect the functioning of other trains but will only create more avenues of employment in the country.
In Chhattisgarh, the Raipur Railway Division under Southeast Central Railway is now preparing to run trains with solar energy. More from our correspondent.
50 megawatt solar plant is being set up by the Raipur Railway Division in collaboration with the Railway Energy Management Company Limited in Charoda Bhilai area of Chhattisgarh. Railways has given about 122-acre land on lease for 27 years for the establishment of the solar plant. This solar power plant is expected to start power generation from March next year. About 250,000 units of power will be made available daily by this plant. The electricity generated from this plant will be used by the Raipur Railway Division to operate some of its trains. The use of solar energy in the operation of trains will not only save revenue but will also promote green energy in railways. Vikalp Shukla, AIR News, Raipur.
State-owned Bank of Maharashtra has sanctioned loans worth 2,779 crore rupees to micro, small and medium enterprises under various schemes since March. In a statement issued yesterday, the lender said loans to MSMEs were offered mostly under the government's 3 lakh crore rupee Emergency Credit Line Guarantee Scheme and the bank's Emergency Credit Line for COVID-19.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will deliver the inaugural address on the first day of the India Global Week 2020 today. The theme of the 3-day virtual conference is Be the Revival, India and a Better New World. India Global Week 2020 will have 5,000 global participants from 30 nations. 250 global speakers will address the virtual conference in 75 sessions. Other high-profile speakers participating in the event include Union Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar and Piyush Goyal, Jammu and Kashmir Lieutenant Governor G.C. Murmu, Isha Foundation founder Sadhguru, spiritual leader Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, UK's Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab, and Home Secretary Preeti Patel, US Ambassador to India Ken Juster, and others. It will also feature a never-seen-before performance, Atmanirbhar Bharat, by Madhu Nataraj, and a special 100th birth anniversary concert in tribute to the sitar maestro Ravi Shankar by 3 of his most eminent students. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will interact today with representatives of social organizations of his parliamentary constituency Varanasi in Uttar Pradesh via video conferencing. He will discuss their experiences during lockdown and showcase their efforts in providing help to the needy persons. More from our correspondent.
These social organizations ensured that food was available timely for everyone in need during lockdown through their own efforts as well as by providing assistance to the district administration. More than 100 such organizations in Varanasi distributed almost 20 lakh food packets and 2 lakh dry ration kits. Apart from food distribution, these organizations were instrumental in distribution of masks and sanitizers also. They have been honored as Corona Warriors by the district administration. These organizations serve in diverse fields including education, religious, health, social clubs and other professional sectors. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Lucknow.
During the ongoing lockdown in view of the coronavirus pandemic, Kashi Vishwanath Mandir Trust in Uttar Pradesh also helped needy persons in many ways. Speaking to AIR News recently, Chief Executive Officer of the Trust, Vishal Singh, said that the Trust not only provided more than 5 lakh food packets to migrants, but also arranged help for depressed children.
हम अब तक 5 लाख से ज्यादा लोगों को खाना खिला चुके हैं। लॉकडाउन के दौरान भी हमारे यहाँ से आराम से 10,000 पैकेट के आसपास का भोजन बनकर श्रद्धालुओं में बढ़ता था। बच्चों के लिए एक को डिप्रेशन ना हो, उनके अंदर एक नकारात्मकता ना बैठे और वो लगातार ऊर्जित रहे, इसके लिए हम लोगों ने मुथूट फाइनेंस ग्रुप के साथ मिलकर एक क्रिएटिविटी कंटेस्ट भी ऑर्गेनाइज करा जो लंबे समय चली है।
The Gujarat government has constituted a 5-member commission to decide rightful beneficiaries of Rabari, Bharwar and Charan castes residing in the Ness areas of Gir, Barada and Alech forests. This decision has been taken in a cabinet meeting chaired by Chief Minister Vijay Rupani in Gandhinagar yesterday. He said that the aim to set up this commission is to protect the constitutional rights of rightful tribals and to prevent the wrong person from taking benefits of the tribals.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Union Cabinet extends Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana till November. 80 crore people to be benefited. Government to credit employees' provident fund contributions both for the employee and employer till August this year in view of COVID pandemic. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate 3-day India Global Week 2020. Also to interact with representatives of social organizations of Varanasi via video conferencing today. Over 4,56,000 people recovered from coronavirus infection so far in the country. And in Jammu and Kashmir, former district president of BJP shot dead in terrorist attack in Bandipora town. Massive search operation launched. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
The central government today said a total of 4,56,831 people affected with coronavirus have recovered in the country so far. In the last 24 hours, 16,883 people have recovered from COVID-19, and with this, the recovery rate has reached 61.53%. The Health and Family Welfare Ministry said a total of 22,752 new cases of COVID-19 have been reported in the country within 24 hours, taking the total number of cases to 7,42,417. In a single day, 482 deaths have been reported, taking the nationwide toll to 20,642. Presently, the total number of active corona cases in the country is 2,64,944. In Punjab, 158 new cases were reported positive for COVID-19. 274 patients were discharged from various hospitals after recovery, and 3 corona deaths were also reported yesterday. Our correspondent reports, out of a total of 158 new cases found positive, 72 are from Jalandhar.
In Haryana, 691 new positive cases of COVID-19 were reported, 461 discharged after recovery, and 3 COVID patients lost their lives yesterday. A total of 2,033 new confirmed cases of coronavirus were reported in Delhi during the last 24 hours, taking the total number of cases to 1,04,864. Delhi government has confirmed that 78,199 people affected with coronavirus have been cured so far. In the last 24 hours, 3,982 people recovered from COVID-19 infection, while 48 deaths were reported in the national capital, taking the toll to 3,213. Now there are 23,452 active cases. In Bihar, a complete lockdown has been imposed in Bhagalpur from today till the 16th of this month due to an alarming surge in COVID-19 positive cases in the state. The state government has also ordered a complete lockdown from tomorrow in 5 districts of Patna, Nawada, Buxar, Kaimur and Purnia. The state recorded 749 new positive cases, taking the total tally to 13,274. On the other hand, 9,541 persons have recovered so far, while 3,632 patients are undergoing treatment at various hospitals. The recovery rate in Bihar stands at 72%.
The 5-member central team, led by Union Health and Family Welfare Additional Secretary Aarti Ahuja, is scheduled to review the COVID-19 pandemic situation in Chennai today. Officials of the Tamil Nadu government are expected to brief them about the various strategies being adopted to contain the spread of the disease. The team members are also expected to visit several health facilities in Chennai. Meanwhile, 3,756 people tested positive for the pandemic yesterday, taking the total number of cases in the state to over 1,22,000. More from our correspondent.
This is the first central team to make an on-the-spot assessment of the pandemic situation in Tamil Nadu since last May. The team will be joined by 2 medical specialists from the Central Medical Institution JIPMER in Pondicherry. They will be assessing the ground situation through their field visit and interact with the state higher officials. Meanwhile, the Chennai Corporation is organizing a series of meetings with representatives of industries, trade and commercial establishments for 3 days from today to ensure complying with the regulations of COVID-19 prevention. Jai Singh, AER News, Chennai.
Central Bureau of Investigation (CBI) has filed 2 FIRs in the case relating to the custodial death of a father-son duo in Santakulam, Tamil Nadu. The case has been taken up by the CBI, which has been investigated so far by the state CID, which has arrested 10 police persons, including an inspector, 2 sub-inspectors and a special sub-inspector. The father and son were small traders in Thoothukudi district. They were taken to the police station on the 19th of June on charges of violating lockdown norms by keeping the shops open a little longer. It is alleged that they were subjected to brutal torture in the lockup. Later, they were lodged in Kovilapatti sub-jail and died in the hospital there.
In Karnataka, a steep spike of 2,062 new COVID-19 cases were reported yesterday, taking the total number of cases to 28,877. A total of 778 patients recovered from various hospitals in the state yesterday, and total number of recovered patients increased to 11,876. The state recovery rate stood at 41.4%. 54 patients succumbed to the disease yesterday, taking the total death to 470. More from our correspondent.
Among the new cases, 1,148 were reported from Bengaluru, 183 from Dakshina Kannada, 89 from Dharwad and 66 from Kalaburgi. In a single day yesterday, 19,134 new swab samples were tested in various parts of the state, and the total samples tested so far has increased to 7,59,181. The government has directed the Bruhat Bengaluru Mahanagara Palike to add 100 additional ambulances to its existing fleet of 400 ambulances. Holding a high-level meeting with the Bengaluru in-charge ministers and officials at his residences, Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa directed officials to take stringent measures to curb the surge. R. Murthy, AER News, Bengaluru.
In Rajasthan, COVID-19 infection is spreading rapidly in the state. With 659 persons testing positive in the state yesterday, the number of infected persons has gone up to 2,263. The number of active patients in the state has also increased to 4,715. Our correspondent reports that 10 persons have died due to COVID infection.
Health Minister Dr. Raghu Sharma has said the number of tests has been increased in the state. He said that there has been a decline in the mortality rate in the state compared to previous days, so there is no need to panic. Meanwhile, the Health Department has sent teams to Alwar and Pali districts for prevention and control of infection. The government has also constituted a state-level task force which will analyze the data and submit a report. Jitendra Dwivedi, AIR News, Jaipur.
Keeping in mind the need for maximum testing in order to curb the spread of the infection, Municipal Corporation of Greater Mumbai, MCGM, has emphasized on testing ever since the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic. The civic body has been conducting tests in compliance with the guidelines issued by ICMR, central government and the state government. More from our correspondent.
In the wake of coronavirus outbreak, a total of 3,64,753 tests have been conducted in the city of Mumbai so far. MCGM has also purchased antigen testing kits that can give results in about half an hour, thereby speeding up the overall testing process. MCGM has also taken measures to increase the capacity at hospitals treating COVID-19 patients, set up temporary hospitals across the city, and made arrangements to provide oxygen and ICU treatment facilities. Till date, Tracing of more than 16 lakh contacts has been done. Out of these, more than 13 lakh 44,000 have successfully completed their quarantine period. Madhuri Pange, AIR News, Mumbai.
In Gujarat, 783 new cases were reported during the last 24 hours. The total cases of COVID-19 in the state have reached up to 38,419. Quoting sources, our correspondent reports that 16 patients lost their lives, taking the death toll due to COVID-19 in the state up to 1,995. More in this report.
Out of 783 new cases recorded in the state, the maximum 215 cases reported from Surat, while Ahmedabad recorded 149 new cases. According to official sources, out of 9,111 active cases in the state, conditions of 67 patients are critical. The total patients recovered from the COVID-19 have gone up to 27,313. More than 4,33,000 tests have been carried out in the state. Meanwhile, Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation has added 10 more areas in micro-containment zones. Door-to-door surveillance and testing drives will begin in these areas from today. Yogesh Pandya, AIR News, Ahmedabad.
After Meghalaya witnessed a surge in the number of COVID-19 cases in the last few days, Chief Minister Conrad Sangma asserted that the state government is containing it. Talking to media, the Chief Minister said the numbers are going up, but we are containing it within certain organizations like BSF, where we've conducted 800 plus tests, and the situation is not so bad as the spread has been contained within the campus. On the number of cases being detected in Ribhoi district, the Chief Minister said that Khanapara is next to Guwahati, and since there is a situation in the neighbouring city, the impact is felt there. Stating that despite all precautionary measures being taken, numbers are going up, but it is in a selective manner and area, Mr. Sangma said. The government has decided that the norms have to be strict. The interstate movement will be tightened even further, he added. The Chief Minister also said that the government will go the extra mile to ensure that safety measures are strengthened so that people are safe.
Specialist doctors from AIIMS in New Delhi will provide expert guidance and knowledge support on COVID-19 to doctors manning intensive care units in state hospitals. 10 hospitals have been selected, including 9 from Mumbai and 1 from Goa. The first session of the expert teleconsultation was held last evening. A calendar of these expert-led teleconsultation sessions has been drawn up to cover the states till the 31st of this month. Dr. Anant Mohan, head of pulmonary medicine at AIIMS in Delhi, conducted the first session of the teleconsultation yesterday. Speaking exclusively to AIR News, Dr. Anant Mohan said that the main aim of these interactions is to further bring down the COVID-19 related fatality rate in the country. He said such technological interventions will help doctors reach out to maximum number of patients in the country.
As of now, we stick to our basic principles of social distancing, hygiene, cough etiquette, and all the things which we have been repeating for the last several months. Apart from that, efforts are ongoing in the scientific community to try and find out some good therapies, medicines, or vaccines. But till that time, I think we have to do whatever best we can from our level. Effort should be to try and reduce the death rate from this disease, which fortunately is not very high, but we should try and get it down to the minimum possible.
This teleconsultation exercise shall be extended to another 61 hospitals which have bed capacity ranging from 500 to 1,000 on twice-a-week basis. In our series Experts Speak on All India Radio, we bring you the views of the leading medical experts on COVID-19. Talking to AIR News, Dr. Amarchand Bajaj, Senior Consultant at Sitaram Bharati Institute of Science and Research, New Delhi, highlighted the importance of hygiene and how to maintain it to contain novel coronavirus.
जब तक हमारे पास इनकी ट्रीटमेंट वैक्सीन या मेडिसिन के रूप में ना निकले, तब तक हमें जो प्रिकॉशनरी मेजर्स है वो फॉलो करने हैं। जहाँ जरूरत ना हो उसमें घर से बिल्कुल बाहर ना निकले, कोशिश करें कम से कम बाहर निकलना है। और जबकि निकलना भी पड़ा घर से बाहर तो कोशिश करें कि जहाँ आप 2 लोग खड़े हैं, करीब 2 मीटर दूर खड़े रहें, नहीं तो कम से कम 1 मीटर दूर खड़े रहें।
Dr. Naresh Gupta of LNJP Hospital, Delhi, said that in most of the cases, the COVID-19 infections are self-limiting and very few patients are required to take admission in hospitals.
80% में तो ऐसी भी तकलीफ नहीं करते हैं या इतनी हल्की करते हैं कि लोग घर पे ही ठीक हो जाते हैं। 10-15% में उनको अस्पताल जाके कुछ दवाई दी जाती है और वो सेटल हो जाते हैं। 5% या उससे कम वाले हैं जो कि दाखिल होना पड़ता है।
The IIT Alumni Council has signed an agreement with the CSIR Institute of Genomics and Integrative Biology CSIR-IGIB to jointly conduct research on COVID-19 and patient data analysis. It may be noted that the Council is setting up the world's largest molecular diagnostic lab, Mega Lab, Mumbai. According to a statement issued yesterday, the Council handed over imaging data of over 8,500 patients who were admitted to the COVID care facility at Worli's National Sports Club of India.
In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, a BJP leader, his brother and father were shot dead by terrorists in the heart of Bandipora town of North Kashmir around 9 p.m. last night. According to police, the incident took place at the shop-cum-residence of BJP leader Wasim Bari, a former district president of the party, when some motorcycle-borne terrorists attacked the three from a close range with a silencer-fitted revolver. The place of incident is barely 10 meters away from the main police station in Bandipora. Bandipora police in the meantime took at least 10 policemen, which included 8 personal security officers who were attached with the BJP leader, into custody, and they're being questioned for their absence from the guard duty. The area was cordoned off and a massive manhunt was launched by the security forces to nab the assailants. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has condoled the gruesome killing of Jammu and Kashmir BJP leader Wasim Bari. In a tweet, Minister in Prime Minister's office, Dr. Jitendra Singh, said, Prime Minister inquired about the dastardly killing. BJP President JP Nadda has said that the death of party leader Wasim Bari and his family members in a terror attack in Jammu and Kashmir was a huge loss for the party, and asserted that their sacrifices will not go in vain. Mr. Nadda in a tweet said that we lost Sheikh Wasim Bari, his father and brother in Bandipora, J&K, in a cowardly attack on them. The entire party stands with the bereaved family.
Veteran Bollywood actor Jagdeep passed away yesterday at the age of 81. The late Bollywood actor has appeared in more than 400 films. However, his roles as Surma Bhopali in the hit movie Sholay had made a huge imprint in the audience's minds even today. The sudden demise of the actor has sent shockwaves among Bollywood celebrities, with many taking it to Twitter to express their grief. Starting his acting career as a child artist, Jagdeep was also seen in movies like Purana Mandir 1984, Andaz Apna Apna 1994 and many more.
And now let's take a look at the weather updates for today. The national capital Delhi may witness generally cloudy sky with light rain. The minimum temperature was recorded at 26 degrees Celsius, while the maximum is expected to be around 34 degrees. The India Meteorological Department IMD has predicted generally cloudy sky over Mumbai, with there being a possibility of moderate rains. The city witnessed a minimum temperature of 26 degrees Celsius and will have a maximum of around 31 degrees. In Gilgit, the minimum temperature was recorded at 18 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 31 degrees, and the sky will be partly cloudy, with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Muzaffarabad may see 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. The place witnessed a minimum temperature of 21 degrees Celsius, while maximum temperature will be around 37 degrees. In Jammu and Kashmir, the minimum temperature was 24 degrees Celsius in Jammu, while maximum will be around 36 degrees.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. Reporting on the phase-wise disengagement and de-escalation agreed to by India and China, the Asian Age writes, PLA exits Hot Springs 2 kilometers. Gogra next, Pangong stuck. Generals to meet again to chart out troop reduction, reports the Tribune. At 25,724, country sees highest COVID cases in a single day is the headline in the Hindustan Times. The Pioneer quotes an MIT study that predicts 2.87 lakh COVID cases a day in India from January. Reporting on the Indian national Kulbhushan Jadhav, the Asian Age reports, Pak says Jadhav refused to file for review. India calls it farce. Pakistan offers consul access to Jadhav. India says follow ICJ is the headline in the Hindustan Times.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Union Cabinet extends Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana till November. 80 crore people to be benefited. Government to credit employees' Provident Fund contributions, both for the employee and employer, till August this year in view of COVID pandemic. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate 3-day India Global Week 2020, also to interact with representatives of social organizations of Varanasi via video conferencing today. Over 4,56,000 people affected, recovered from coronavirus infection so far in the country. And in Jammu and Kashmir, former district president of BJP shot dead in terrorist attack in Bandipora town. Massive search operation launched. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.com and News on Air app. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.